Alex and Spencer in 1923's finale gives Yellowstone its second version of heaven. Alexandra, Julia Schlapfer, and Spencer Dutton's Brandon Sklenar romantic ending in 1923 Season 2's finale gives the Yellowstone saga its second version of heaven. After taking separate arduous journeys to Montana in 1923, Spencer and Alex are finally reunited in 1923's epic finale, but only for a brief time. Alex soon dies of complications from frostbite and hypothermia after giving birth to their son, John Dutton New. Spencer exacts revenge on Donald Whitfield, Timothy Dalton, for Alex's death before inheriting the Yellowstone Dutton Ranch. While Taylor Sheridan's flagship Yellowstone series was a 21st century neo-Western, Yellowstone's prequels, 1883 and 1923, follow more traditional Western genre tropes. However, Sheridan underscores 1883 and 1923 with spirituality and philosophical musings about the West and man's place on Earth. In 1883's finale, Elsa Dutton, Isabel May, tragically dies from an arrow wound in the arms of her father, James Dutton, Tim McGraw. 1883's closing moments reveal that Elsa went to her version of heaven, which is unique to each person. Elsa's eternal joy is riding the boundless West with her Native American husband, Sam Martin Sensmeyer. 1923 Season 2's final proved heaven in the Yellowstone saga isn't exclusive to Elsa Dutton. In the Titanic-like final moments of 1923, Spencer Dutton is reunited with Alex after his death in 1969 at the age of 80. In Alex and Spencer's ideal afterlife, they are back on the British ocean liner they sailed on in 1923 Season 1's finale. Of course, Alex teased Spencer, "What took you so long?" But the couple are once again young and beautiful, enjoying the happiness in their heaven that life denied them in 1923. 1923 also confirms Elsa's narration that each person's version of heaven is specific to them in the Yellowstone saga. There's no uniform version of the afterlife. Elsa and Sam live in their heaven the way they lived in 1883, but without the violence and tragedy that hounded them on the Oregon Trail. Spencer and Alex get a perfect version of the 1920s Grand Ball that they only fleetingly enjoyed in 1923 Season 1's ending before they were unjustly separated. With 1923 now over, the Yellowstone saga is moving on to more spin-offs, including the next prequel planned by Taylor Sheridan, 1944. Set 20 years after the end of 1923, 1944 will follow the Duttons during World War II, and will likely center on Spencer and Alex's son, John Dutton II, who will be about 20. Elizabeth Strafford's Michelle Randolph, child with the late Jack Dutton, Darren Mann, may also be part of 1944. But will Alex be in 1944 in some form, the way Elsa Dutton was an ethereal presence in 1923? Brandon Sklenar and Julia Schlapfer have floated the idea that Alex could return as a ghost in 1944. While it sounds absurd at first, there could be merit to Alexandra continuing to be a presence in Spencer's life. Alex could replace Elsa as 1944's heavenly narrator and be the omniscient chronicler of Spencer's life running the Yellowstone Dutton Ranch. Perhaps Spencer could even have visions of Alex. By introducing heaven in 1883 and continuing the afterlife in 1923, Taylor Sheridan has the leeway to carefully introduce more supernatural elements into 1944. Elsa, Spencer, and Alex Dutton received romantic versions of heaven that rewarded them for the injustice and tragedy they suffered in life throughout 1883 and 1923. The more grounded, modern-day Yellowstone, however, did not include spiritual elements or a hopeful version of the afterlife. Several Duttons and other major characters died throughout Yellowstone, including John Dutton IA, Kevin Costner, but they didn't get rewarded with their personal versions of eternal bliss. Had Kevin Costner not quit Yellowstone midway through Season 5, it's probable that John Dutton IA wouldn't have been killed off. Once Costner exited and Taylor Sheridan opted to write out Yellowstone's lead character with a violent death, they didn't have Kevin to perform any scenes of John in heaven, even if Sheridan had scripted them. It's also possible that present-day Duttons like John don't get a version of heaven like the purer Elsa of 1883 and Alex and Spencer of 1923 deserved, because they are more morally compromised than their ancestors. The Yellowstone universe has always been rooted in grit and struggle, in blood-soaked earth and hard-won survival. Yet in the finale of 1923, as Spencer Dutton and Alexandra stride through the fire of heartache, separation, and destiny, the franchise dares to paint a second portrait of heaven, a love forged not in paradise, but in peril and no less divine for it. We first met Spencer Dutton as a haunted man, his soul fractured in the bloody aftermath of World War I. He carried his trauma like a second skin, exiling himself to the most dangerous corners of Africa, where he hunted beasts more for penance than profit. The roar of a lion was the only voice loud enough to drown the ghosts of the trenches. Spencer wasn't living, he was enduring. And then came Alexandra. With her windswept hair, sharp tongue, and an instinct for rebellion, Alex was the thunderbolt that split his gray sky. Their connection was electric, as if fate had been impatiently waiting to set them on a collision course. From the moment she crashed his dinner and shattered the careful order of his solitude, the world tilted. Spencer didn't just fall in love, he awakened. She pulled him back from the edge with laughter and defiance, reminding him that there were still reasons to believe in beauty, in adventure, in home. Their love, however, was never given the luxury of peace. From the cliffs of Kenya to the decks of cursed ships, from customs officers to ill-fated separations at sea, their journey felt like a myth. A Homeric odyssey wrapped in 1920s glamour and grit. Every twist in their tale carried the weight of divine interference, as though the gods themselves were invested in keeping them apart. But still, they fought. Still, they chose each other. So when 1923's finale arrived, there was an emotional reckoning unlike anything the Dutton saga had offered before. For where John Dutton's world in Yellowstone finds moments of sanctity in the land, the cattle, the sky, the heritage, Spencer and Alex embody a second heaven. A personal, burning heaven. One carved not from Montana soil, but from soul-deep connection. Separated by circumstance yet tethered by fate, Spencer stands alone on the shores of a new country, bruised but not broken, knowing Alex is somewhere across the water. And she, vibrant and vulnerable, refuses to let the world dictate her destiny, even as it tears her from the arms of the man she crossed oceans to follow. Their separation isn't just heartbreaking, it's biblical. Like Adam and Eve cast from Eden, they are torn from their shared heaven. But here's where 1923 does something transcendent. In the absence of togetherness, both characters evolve. Spencer, long defined by his past, begins to accept the notion of a future. Alex, once sheltered and impulsive, reveals steel beneath her elegance. Each becomes the mirror of the other's growth. They aren't just lovers, they are each other's redemption. Heaven, in the Yellowstone mythos, has always been a hard-earned thing. For the elder Duttons, it is symbolized by the ranch itself, a brutal Eden maintained with sacrifice. But Spencer and Alex offer something newer, softer, yet equally profound. Their heaven is mobile, not tethered to geography or legacy. It's a heaven found in stolen moments and unwavering promises. A heaven born in whispers and shipwrecks and longing glances. In the finale, the weight of their love defies even the darkest moments. Spencer, staring down an uncertain future, still holds Alex in his heart with a kind of reverence usually reserved for saints. And Alex, refusing to be caged by convention or fate, looks to the horizon with fierce hope, certain their paths will converge again. This is Yellowstone's second heaven, not a place, but a presence. It's not the rolling pastures of Montana or the quiet satisfaction of cattle drives. It's the thunder in your chest when you see your person across a crowd. It's the way Spencer whispers Alex's name like it's the last prayer he has left. It's the refusal to believe that love can be broken by time, tide, or tyranny. Taylor Sheridan, in crafting Spencer and Alex's arc, doesn't just give us a romance. He gives us a spiritual experience. In a universe so often stained with blood and betrayal, they are the miracle. Their story reminds us that even in worlds built on violence and vengeance, there can be grace. There can be a man who once ran from death, now chasing life. There can be a woman who abandoned comfort to follow love into chaos. And through it all, there can be faith. Not the kind you find in churches or textbooks, but the raw, trembling kind that lives in your gut. The kind that whispers, we will find our way back to each other.